Dear students, it is the third video for week 10 and we are talking about the conflict and issues with Pakistani governments and the society. We came till martial law of General Pervez Musharraf. You must mind one thing, that transformation in the stance of government is the direct impact on the public and the society's things. Let's, for example, in 1980s, when Russia captured Afghanistan and Americans involved in Cold War clear, and they made Pakistan frontline state first time, entire narrative was changed. Here people were funded, okay, madrasa, schools, universities at all stages. The jihadis were trained and they were asked to participate for the salvation of the country, and same time the Kashmir movement was given extraordinary uh, importance. Well, entire country was in the spirit of jihad, fine, and but when it is in 2001 and 1999, General Pervez Musharraf took the throne, and in 2001 9/11 decision of General Pervez Musharraf for going with America and entering into war against terrorism, and he shouldered the foreign war on Pakistan, then a different stance will be given. Clear? Number one, the establishment, the people were reconciled. Clear? People were means they were inculcated about the threat of Americans, that if Pakistan didn't get alive with America, America will crumple Pakistan to the dust. This was the threat that widespreadly spread it. Second thing was done because Americans and the Westerns knew this fact, that although America is attacking Pakistan and Pakistani government is along with America, yet public shall not accept this. And definitely Pashtun belt in both Balochistan and KPK and other jihadis, those who've been actively involved in Jihad Afghanistan, will come to back the movement of the Taliban. Okay, to change the mind of the people, the propagation was started that the Talibans are the worst one. They are grabbing the rules of women and they flogging, and the videos of killing and massacre of the Taliban were highlighted in national media and international media. Secondly, media was paid. You see that at the time TV channels were open, medias were paid, cell phone was given, and at the cheap rates, okay, cellular companies came, propaganda started, and a complete environment was built that changed, and the slogan of the Sabse Pehle Pakistan was given to the Pakistani society. Secondly, another slogan was given that, okay, do not, Pakistani society, do not involve into these regional conflicts, just think about your own progress and prosperity. Roads were built and many things were done just to launch this program completely. This changed the dimension of Pakistani society. Since after this, Pakistani society started thinking differently. They turned more materialized. Media took the lead. Okay, previously teachers Scholars, imams, professors, doctors, they had the influence. And now, media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTubers, now they are leading the people. And now that's why there is a huge confusion. This is a drawback that has Pakistan inherited. Fine, this is the transformation now. Everybody is saying everything. There is more lawlessness, there are more confusions, there are more digressions. Okay, now this was the second phase that we have faced, that the materialized society. But once again, in this era, just in this era of when Americans have lost their war in Afghanistan and Taliban have came to be winners, now the narrative has been changed. Again, again, Taliban's are given due respect. Americans want the peaceful uh, eviction from Afghanistan. Now the narrative has changed in Pakistan, because now Pakistan have understood that the Taliban is a reality and good relations with Taliban is the only security. Otherwise, if India hijacks Taliban and the Afghan government, Pakistan will be in the constant trouble. This is the thing. You find a narrative change, and now another transformation will be made in the society. Okay, and here it is well said by the Professor Noam Chomsky. He says that there is no public opinion at all. Public normally doesn't possess the sense. Public opinion is created whenever the interest groups, powerful and influential minds, want to change the mind of the people. They can change through the certain techniques. So you are again in another transformation. The transformation from the shift from the Americans to Chinese, from Middle East to Central Asia. Clear? So these changes are inevitable, and change is the spice of life. So you find that the Pakistani society has always been changing. Clear? Their mind, expectations, they keep changing. Not they just change in religion, they change in expectations, they change in culture, they change in dresses, they change in likes and dislikes. Whereas you don't find any change, much change in Bangladesh, in India and others, because they are uh, uh, working on the same. And it is much and true that for years and years, Pakistani society that based on the same pattern is volatile in situation. We cannot decide about Pakistan that what type of actions they will take and what turn they will take. Thereby, the U-turn policy is much true in terms of Pakistani politics, Pakistani stances, but yet Pakistan is playing quite positive roles. Maybe the change is the secret of this country. Anyway, we are going to cover another second conflict, that is called the conflict among the regional groups. Regional means provincial problems. Fine. In start, there were less problems. Only two problems emerged: East Pakistan and the West Pakistan. Okay. The East Pakistanis, Bengalis, would think that Bengalis are more intelligent. Okay, they work more in industry, and thereby they are not given the rights. Whereas on other end, West Pakistani, they were controlled by the landlords, establishment. Clear? And they had their own mentality that we are the landlords and we are the establishment and we are the rulers and we provide help to the Pakistan. These were some worst confusions in the mind, and that conflict resulted in destruction of Pakistan. But along with this, another conflict started, that was Balochistan conflict. Soon after 1973, the the foreign aided terrorists and swept unrest in Balochistan. Bhutto took swift action and he initiated the first armed intervention into the province, and really it resulted in extreme tension. And finally, Pakistan had to face a lots of trouble and other foreign agencies involved in it. Being rich in minerals, Pakistan became Balochistan became the high favorite area for the international conspiracies. Second thing was the uh, Mahajir Qawmi movement (MQM), the migrators from from other parts of Pakistan uh, settled in Karachi. They owned the business, whereas the common native Sindhi was invoked poison that Sindhi rules and status is going to be threatened by this, and a conflict started. Sindhu Desh was demanded fine, and this tension remained worst. Karachi, once the most peaceful city of the world, became the worst ones. Clear 1980s and till 2002, first massacres were made. Even in the time of Musharraf, the deaths were made and people were killed. General Nasirullah Khan Babur, ex Interior Minister of Pakistan, is more criticized by these. Anyway, these all the things are worst. But in all these situations, the political parties has a very worst applications. In public gatherings, in political stances, they all hated these. But when they constitute the government, they had to take the MQM into their government. For example, the recent Imran Khan PTI government, that was against the MQM, and they thought that MQM is a killer party and we won't stand. Even at their leaders were killed. But see that the former law minister Farooq Naseem was from the MQM. So in this way, the political stances of the parties, they keep changing, and they create another effect on the society. Fine. And other thing was aristocracy and the political. Fourth conflict took place between landed aristocracy that dominated Pakistan's political and economic life for much of the country's history, and new urban elite that began to assert itself in late 90s. One manifestation of this conflict was struggle that broke out between Punjab provincial leaders and the federal authorities in late 1980s. Under the Islamic Democratic Alliance, the Punjab government continued to back the interest of landed aristocracy, while the national government, headed by Benazir, without a liberal bent and a wider base of support, opposed the economic and the social interest of the urban groups and non-proprietary classes. The two governments often clashed in the late 1980s, creating serious economic management problems. Issues regarding power sharing between federal and the provincial governments were largely ignored during the period of military rule in 1990 till 2008. This actually says that the tension between the traditional politicians and the newly emerged class. Actually, Mia Nawaz Sharif and another company, that was a newly emerging class. Benazir and political party, they had long been involved in the politics. Nawaz Sharif was a new entry, and Punjab peace backed up Nawaz Sharif. Though this conflict started and both remained enemies of one another, both remained hostile to one another, the harassment were made, sometimes they were banished, many things were done. Anyhow, finally when a martial law was imposed in 2001, all the parties gathered at the name of Misake Jamhuriyat in 2001. Fine. So these are some of the issues that were changed the Pakistani society in long way. Thank you very much.